Welcome back to my DayZ tutorial series. In this episode, we will take a deeper dive into the game. We will focus on how to find food and water, and how to acquire the tools to make this possible. We will also move further into the map, making use of various methods on how to keep track of your location, and overall how to survive the harsh environment of Charnaris. The first priority upon waking up on the beach is to find food. There are a variety of methods on achieving this. My recommendation is to head straight to the railway tracks in search of small stones. You may need to search for up to 10 minutes, however once you have found 2 small stones, you are able to craft a stone knife. Simply hold one stone in your hand and ensure the other is on the floor, to allow the craft stone knife prompt. The stone knife will not work as well as a normal knife, as it will be fairly weak. However, it will serve well in securing your first meal. Of course, you can always try obtaining food from zombies. Just tackle them one at a time, and make sure you always aim for the head. Keep punching and make sure they don't get a strike in. There are many water fountains located around the map, so take full advantage of these and make sure your water level is full before moving on. As covered in episode 1, the police station is a good first stop, as you can find good clothing options early on. You may even find a shotgun, if you get lucky, to protect yourself from many fresh spawns. Just make sure it's loaded in the event that you encounter any threats. Keep an ear out for any chickens. They usually spawn around towns and farms, and you can hear them from quite far away. Sneak up to them so they aren't spooked, and use your stone knife to kill and skin them to acquire chicken breasts. But bear in mind, you will get blood on your hands after you've skinned them, and you'll need to wash them before you eat. The chicken will also drop bones, which you can craft into fishing hooks to use later on. To wash your hands, go to any water source and use the wash hands option, taking care not to drink as you may contaminate the water. Next, it's time to make a fire. Go to any bush and break it down to acquire sticks and wood. You will also need to find a specific bush to get hold of a long stick, which can be used to roast food. Now it's time to get into the woods and find somewhere safe to build the fire. Once you have found your spot, to make a fireplace, simply combine sticks or wood with bark that you can get from using your stone knife against a tree. Be sure to add extra bark to the fire as kindling to ensure it stays alight long enough to cook your food. We now need to create a hand drill kit by again combining sticks and bark together. Once you have your hand drill kit, select it, target the fireplace to ignite. To cook your food, select your long stick and add 1 piece of chicken to the end. Target the fire and start roasting. You need to wait for the white circle to complete a full cycle before the food is no longer raw and safe to eat. The meat will change colour once it's cooked. You do have to hold down the action button to continue to roast, but don't worry if you let go. Once you start roasting again, it will continue your progress where you left off. Just don't cook it for too long, as the meat will burn and will give you an upset stomach if eaten. Once you're well fed, it's time to head inland. This can be daunting at first, and you may become lost fairly quickly. However, there are many maps you can find in various towns. Use these to get your bearings, and be sure to follow roads and look out for town signs to guide your way. Our next priority is to find a more sustainable source of food, and no other is more reliable than fishing. First, we need to obtain a few items to get started, such as rags. The best source is by cutting up random pieces of clothing. Remember, at this point, our knife will be nearing the end of its shelf life, and we'll need to look out for a new one. In the meantime, check trees outside of houses, as they drop fruit which can fuel you while you look for a more nutritious meal. Just be careful of their condition. Rotten food should be avoided, however it can still be a lifeline if you're starving. And remember, dried fruit, although damaged, will still satisfy your hunger. Continue your search for better clothes by looting houses. Better clothes can offer more protection from the elements and also increased item capacity. Just remember to move all your items over to the new item, as you wouldn't want to leave any valuable property behind. Be on the lookout for other items too, such as headwear, and also any bags you might find, regardless of how they look. But once you find your first proper knife, you have now truly become an efficient survivor. You can use the knife to open canned food. However, it may result in various levels of spillage. Use a can opener if you're lucky to find one for the best results. At night, it's best to find shelter. If you find a lockpick, you can even lock yourself in to stay protected from random intruders. This method will keep you sheltered from the rain and the reduction of temperature, but stay alert if you decide to make a fire, as nothing lights up the night more than a flame on the horizon, which may attract some unnecessary attention. Congratulations on surviving your first night of DayZ, but there is still a lot of work to do to stay alive. At this point, we should really get ready in crafting our fishing rod. Once you have your 2 stacks of 6 rags, you can combine them to create a rope. Next, combine this with the long stick to craft the improvised fishing rod. The last ingredient you need is fishing bait. Simply target the grass with your knife to dig for worms. Once you have secured your worm, combined with the bone hook that you required from the chicken to create the fishing bait hook. You are able to fish from various water sources, such as the ocean or small ponds. Ponds are recommended as you'll less likely bump into other players. Along the way, be sure to loot deer stands, as they can offer some quite rewarding items. Before you reach the pond, make sure the bait has been successfully added to the fishing rod. As you approach the pond, take out the fishing rod and start fishing. It can take up to a minute or 2 to catch a fish, and there's a chance you may even fish up some wellies or cooking pots, but stick with it. Fishing is still a great source of food in DayZ, and you are not competing with other players on spawn rates for some of the animals in the game. Upon finding a fish, use your knife to craft fish steaks ready for the roast. At this point, you may have picked up a cold. You'll know you're sick by the little virus symbol on your stats bar. There are a number of infirmaries along the coast, however the best location is in Solnichny. We spoke about this town in my previous video, so be sure to check that out. It's the town with the quarry. These infirmaries offer many different items, from first aid packs, to bandages and blood kits, to morphine and saline bags. I will cover sickness and medicine in a future video. For now, we are here for one special item: multivitamins. Many DayZ players would rely on antibiotics to treat a cold, but if you follow the rules of eating safe food, you'll never need anything else but vitamins to keep you nice and healthy. Next time, we'll travel further inland, in search of higher tier items found at various military outposts. We'll even cover how to secure better guns for increased protection and explore more specialized methods in acquiring food. Thank you for watching, and take care.